This is Entertainment for Review, and as I prepare to move forward with my review series of The Big Bang Theory, I wanted to take a pause here. I've just completed Season 3, and after reviewing the first 3 seasons, we've reviewed a total of 63 episodes. So I wanted to take a brief pause here just to look back at what we've reviewed so far, and just have a brief discussion of what's happened up to this point. The reason I wanted to do this is because I view this point as the end of the first era of the show. That's because we have our core cast of 5. We have Leonard, Sheldon, Penny, Raj, and Howard. After this, we no longer have just that core cast of 5. We kind of transition to a core cast of 7 with the addition of 2 additional characters, Bernadette and Amy. Bernadette was introduced a couple times earlier on, and she dated Howard briefly until they did break up. And Amy was introduced at the very end season finale of season 3 and will grow more as things go forward. So transition again from core cast of 5 to a core cast of 7. Big change in the show. This first section of the show, if I had to choose, I think this is one of my favorite periods of the show, probably my favorite period of the show, just because we're introduced to so much here. We see the origin of all these characters that we grow and continue to care about. The show continues to grow and the show continues to be great, but these first section of the show, these first couple of seasons are just always very special to me and are always my favorites to go back and rewatch. And so there's just a few things that I really want to go through and recap in order to discuss what's important from these first couple of seasons. Each character we get introduced to is important of this core cast of 5. We are first introduced to Leonard and Sheldon, 2 physicists who are roommates who live together and they work at the same university. And then we are introduced to Penny, who is a woman who moved to California to pursue becoming an actress, but currently works at the Cheesecake Factory. She moves into the apartment across the hall from Leonard and Sheldon, and Leonard is immediately infatuated with Penny. And then we get to Raj and Howard, who also work at the same university as Leonard and Sheldon. Raj is an astrophysicist, and Howard is an engineer. That's important to note for Howard's character because he kind of has a plot complex where he feels a little bit less than because he's an engineer while all of his friends are PhDs. So we have this dynamic right off the bat of 4 friends. We introduce Penny as the 5th friend. She immediately kind of befriends the entire group, but Leonard wants to move beyond that and wants to move into a dating situation with Penny, which takes him quite a long time to do. In fact, it takes him 2 full seasons. He attempts to go on a date with her, which does not go well. He has a couple of other fumbling attempts to try to get together with Penny, and it doesn't go well. And it's not until the end of the 2nd season when he goes away that Penny realizes her feelings for him. She doesn't want him to go away. And when he comes back at the very beginning of season 3, they get together. They date throughout most of season 3, but Leonard makes a mistake. He says, "I love you," before Penny was ready to reciprocate, and then he can't seem to let it go. And due to some interference by Will Wheaton, they end up breaking up. So they meet. Leonard tries to date. He finally gets the success. They date for almost a full season, and then now they are broken up, and they're kind of just back to being friends. They kind of just bounced back to where they were before season 3, although admittedly on both sides there's a little bit of awkwardness, but slowly they both move on after the relationship, although be it a bit awkwardly, and a bit awkward for everybody else in the group as well, particularly Sheldon, who took the time to make Penny part of his friend group and then doesn't know what to do after they break up, but luckily that is all straightened out pretty quickly. So in these first couple of seasons, we have a couple of dynamics with each character. We have Leonard and Sheldon, who kind of have a symbiotic relationship. They kind of fulfill a need within each other. Leonard, we know, is a character who lacks a lot of confidence, although he does pretty well with women over the course of the show compared to his confidence level. And he is taking care of Sheldon to a degree, but Sheldon is also to a degree taking care of him, because Sheldon is fulfilling a need for Leonard kind of to take care of someone and to kind of have a closeness with someone, because we learned that Leonard didn't have the warmest of childhoods with his mother, who we meet, who is a behavioral psychologist. And then we meet Sheldon, who needs the help Leonard to help take care of him, because Sheldon, while he is a brilliant mind and a successful scientist, socially he's very awkward. He doesn't understand social cues. He doesn't really understand things like sarcasm, and he kind of needs someone to fulfill some of his physical and like just practical needs, being that he can't drive. He needs someone to drive him to work because he doesn't like to take the bus and things of that nature, so he kind of needs someone to help him out, just kind of navigating through the unpleasant aspects of his life and Leonard kind of fulfills that need and makes things a lot easier for Sheldon, even though Sheldon may not always fully appreciate it. We then get to Raj and Howard, who have a strange kind of friendship. They are like closer than you would expect two male friends to be, and in fact it just makes for some awkward comedy at times, just making some very strange comments and moments. It also doesn't help that Raj can't speak to women, what we learn, unless he's drunk. So a lot of times when he's around women, he'll whisper into people's ears, usually Howard, because him and Howard are kind of the best friends of each other. And when Raj does drink, he kind of becomes a little bit of a jerk, so that doesn't help his situation. He can't talk to women when he's sober, and then when he is drunk and he can talk to women, he becomes kind of a jerk and can't really attract a woman that way either. So he's kind of having trouble either way. They are all good friends, though. They're all very loyal to each other in this friends group. They would all help each other. Sheldon is a nightmare. Throughout the show, we see his habits develop in these first couple seasons. He's very obsessive compulsive. He's very selfish. He's very self-centered. But he does care about his friends. That's not in doubt. But he is just a one-way kind of person who focuses on what he wants. He focuses on his career, his science, and he kind of puts everything else to the side. And at times hurts his friends' feelings because he just doesn't intend to, but it's just his personality, and it just sometimes rubs each other the wrong way. He has blow-ups with Leonard, he has a bickering constantly with Howard, he kind of gets along pretty well with Raj, although they do have a little bit back and forth at times. Him and Penny have a bit of a unique relationship, where after they develop and become friends, Penny's kind of the only one who can push his buttons and get away with it, and I really like to see their relationship grow. Sheldon just grows this episode. We see a lot of his habits develop. I love his catchphrase like Bazinga, his signature knocks. Just a lot of things grow out of these couple seasons, and his character is portrayed brilliantly, and that's probably why he's the character that went on to get a spin-off in that of young Sheldon, where we explored his younger years. Just a thought, I also think they could do a young Leonard. There's a lot to explore there as well, because Leonard, as we said, had a very, it seemed, unpleasant for him childhood. It seems like, they even talk about the fact that they probably should have been switched. Leonard would have probably done better with the parentage that Sheldon had, and Sheldon probably would have liked having the parentage that Leonard had. But they both grew in their environments and made them the people that they are. Very good character development in this first couple of seasons on both sides, for everybody really. Raj and Howard probably get the least amount of focus in these first couple of seasons, but that's okay because they do get more time to shine later on. Howard is just portrayed as kind of a perverted, creepy scientist who always wants to try to pick up women, although he's terrible at it. Although he never has a lack of confidence, except for some brief moments throughout the show. And Raj, as we said, just is a disaster when it comes to being around women. But he's an interesting character. They both bring a lot of comedy to the episodes. And they're, I guess you would say they are core cast, but they are more of the supporting characters, where you would say Leonard, Sheldon, and Penny are the leads. So they fulfill their roles very well. But as I said, they do get a lot more time to shine after this. Penny also has a lot of character growth in this first couple of seasons. She's portrayed as kind of a party girl, and that's what we see from her. She's here to become an actress, although it's not going well for her so far, as she's working at the Cheesecake Factory and getting some minor auditions and acting jobs along the way. But Penny grows a lot. We see she probably isn't the type of girl who would date someone like Leonard, and she doesn't for a long time, and eventually does, and then that seems to change her quite a bit, as when she dates Zach after, we see that she is seeing things in his personality that she might have ignored in the past. So those are kind of the main points that I wanted to recap for these first 3 seasons. Sorry if this video is a little repetitive of things I've said before in the other videos if you've watched, but I just wanted to pause here because, again, I do think this is the end of the first major era of the show, and things are going to change a lot more in the time to come. And as I said, this is one of my favorite periods of the show, probably my favorite period of the show. Let me know your thoughts on the first 3 seasons of The Big Bang Theory. Do you like this area of the show better? Do you like it more as it continues to develop later down the line? Point out anything that you think I didn't highlight from these first couple of seasons. Please leave any comments in the comments section below. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and keep an eye out for my next videos coming soon as we move forward into the next season of The Big Bang Theory. We'll be starting season 4 shortly. Thank you for watching.